Welcome to Property Inside Straight Talk. Tonight we have a very special guest. It's none other than Eric Yong. Eric Yong is a Group MD for Crest Builder Holdings Berhad. This is a construction company that was listed since 2003. And if I'm not mistaken, Eric, Crest Builder has been in the industry for more than 37 years. Welcome to the show, Eric. Okay, Eric. Yes, Eric. First off,
this is our 37th year, in fact.
37 years. Wow, it's been a long while. And a lot of people are saying in construction, if you can survive the first 5 years, you are basically very secured already. Because in terms of
I think this story is correct for recent years but I think the early years is a lot tougher than that but early years I think the market although the margins were very good, but then the country was being developed during the early days very dangerous, and a lot of infra is not there and so on. I think there's a lot. But today, I think with the technology, if you can survive 5 years, I think your coming years should be very strong
Right.
But nonetheless, as the technology advances so fast, the concern also is that the competition from whether from overseas, from local, from the smaller guys, from the big boys, all this, everyone, the competition is too stiff nowadays. So even you clear 5 years, your next 5 years could be very well secure, but then after that also still have to very very well manage
Yeah. Talking back about construction industry I mean, Eric, I know you have been in this industry all your life. How do you see the changes in Malaysia construction industry from like 10 years or 15 years ago up to now?
I think one of the key differences from I started in 2003. In fact, I came back. I joined the company 2 weeks after it was listed, right? So if I were to look at the differences back then the dependency on the day-to-day paperwork or a lot were dependent on a lot of manual work. Today there's a lot more technology. There's a lot more your softwares and all these things, your IPS, your BIM. A lot of all this have actually helped to improve the efficiency and productivity of the project. I mean, if you look at 16 years ago, if you build a condo, you are looking at an average of maybe 10 to 12 days per floor. As of right now, my guys based on system formwork with steel bar and concrete, all this are still pouring. We can do as fast as 4 days a floor, even 3.5 days a floor. So I think you can see the technology advancement has gone so much, so has improved so much. I mean, I don't compare with all these TRX. They're using steel structures. They're doing 4 floors a week But then in terms of the conventional system formwork, the speeds have picked up so much. And then in terms of the workers, I think if back then you look at the skill set of the Indonesian workers or the Bangladeshi workers, they are not as good as what they are today. Today, I think they are so advanced already. Back then, you need a 50 person subcon team. Today, 30 serves almost the same productivity as the same 50 fellas. So you can see the productivity and efficiency picked up a lot nowadays.
Wow. Yeah.
And I think nowadays also, of course, safety also has improved so much. Last time you go around, I think construction site is always a scary place to go to. I think nowadays, construction sites are possibly safer than a lot of other industry work areas, you see. Factories, I mean, of course, the cleaners of factories, you cannot compare. But then if you compare most of the construction sites today, those in the city center, those anytime you can walk into the site, you can sit on the floor and you can take out your fan and you can take out your packed rice and eat. Also, you still feel okay. But if 15 years ago, 20 years ago, you sit on the floor, probably, I mean, the guys will be, go to autopsy like that, that kind of conditions are very bad.
Yeah. But now have improved so much. But Eric,
yes.
you know, with this COVID-19 pandemic is hitting everyone across industry. And what is your take on the whole economic landscape will change in months to come?
I've been telling everyone this is what the Prime Minister says, this is the new normal. You see, one thing in the past, our Malaysian economy or basically in all economies, we are all very dependent on a very interactive and networking lifestyle, which means you tend to meet someone, you can meet someone at any time of the day, after 11 p.m., 12 p.m., you meet them at the bar, the pub, the restaurant, the cafe, and all these things. There's a lot of meetings involved, try to get things clear and so on. But I believe now a lot a lot, while relationship is still you're pushing for more trust and trusty relationship and so on. I think all this networking lifestyle would actually reduce a lot. I mean, right now you probably be celebrating via a simple lunch or a simple dinner. In the past, you probably celebrate by, like you go to the pub, you open your whiskeys and your brandies and all these things. So there'll be a lot lesser than that. And further to that, if you're talking about today, the term of King Sang Yi could be via Zoom. Via Zoom, you may not be going to the cafe or restaurant anymore. So I think one of the key things is that, and I think because of this gig economy your Grab and all these things, I think they will be the new mainstays. I think especially all this younger generations, I think they will be looking at many new ideas or new concepts or all this to come up. I think all these are the way forward.
True. Okay,
of course, globally it's definitely bad. Globally it's very bad.
Yeah, it's crazy. Eric, the other thing will be, I want to bring the focus back to your industry, which is construction industry. If we're talking about construction industry, of course, we have many segments, segmented by commercial construction, residential construction, industrial construction, infrastructure, transportation, construction, as well as energy and utilities. Overall, what will be the impact of this pandemic towards the overall construction industry?
How I would look at it, I mean, if you were to look at the various project types, I would split them into two different categories first. Two different categories, of course, public and also private. Your government and so your private sectors. Your government sectors will cover all your energy, your utilities and all these things. And then your private sector is your offices, your condos, your industries and so on. And I think contractors, actually, if there's a project, we bid for it, we get the job, we will be building it. Then, of course, the most important now is whether the source of the projects still come in or not. So, if you look at the government side, I think the government is actually like I mentioned, is in a dilemma right now. Is it like, if they were to pump in more mega projects, whether it's more infra, too much more, I mean, a lot more infra or new highways or new high-rise and so on. Yes, it helps the industry for sure. There's a trickle-down effect. I mean, it helps everyone down the line. But the people on the street will be saying, "Hey, right now, I'm not even surviving. You build so many highways,
Yeah, correct.
Or another new high-rise, another new 100-story. There's no need of that. So the government is in the dilemma for that. So, and if you talk about oil and gas sector, also the oil and gas projects on the government side, also Petronas. I mean, with such oil prices, I don't think they'll be spending much as well. Then the next part, it comes back to the private sector. The private sector right now, they are in a catch-22 situation whereby, you see, right now things are getting cheaper, but then they got no demand, and probably they cannot sell. They got all these things. So you see, like apartment wise, high end will definitely be affected. High end because of international sales, all these things. Then you talk about mid end whether there is still the demand for that or not. Because I mean, the last people sit at home going to be sat at home for the last 6 weeks, 6 weeks already. Yeah. So going ahead, a lot of people, they worry whether salaries will still be paid, whether they still have a job 6 months later, 1 year later. So the people are not going to be spending on the big ticket items, you see. So, and they will be like, right now this market is actually very good for those people who have a lot of savings. They want to do your investments. They want to catch the good bargains. But in terms of the day-to-day investors, people who, let's say, right now, but the target, 30 years old want to buy a house, 35 years old want to buy a house, bungalow, that kind of thing. I think they will actually defer these kind of targets, because in terms of the investment value, the people start worrying. You see, like I think, especially if you look at for the property, the apartments wise, I mean, like, a lot of properties today are actually, they try to do Airbnb and all these things. I think after the MCO lifted and now this whole situation slowed down a bit, the private sector definitely worse off. You see, like, you have all these flight cancellations, traveling, firstly, all this already reduced. Yes. And then those that located within your prime areas, your tourist areas, like near your pavilion, Bukit Bintang, all these areas, all this also declined. And I was chatting with my guys also. I think the biggest concern right now is after this whole recovery, the psychology for people to look for accommodation, I think they will still end up, instead of going for the cheaper Airbnb option, they end up paying a bit more for hotels, because they believe hotels will have their better safety, better disinfectant, sanitization, all these things.
Agree.
So you have the situation that your investors, your Airbnb investors or owners, they will change from your short term to back to long term, you see. So when it's long term, your numbers, your yield will expected to come down, you see. And that comes back down to the situation of yield. I mean the yield part. You see, now that interest rates are dropping so much, I believe I do hope that the market perceive the right yield, the right rental yield, all this can come down. Then you see the property will still be very strong. I mean, if today you expect to buy a condo, buy an apartment, and still expect to get 6, 7, 8% yield, I think impossible to get already lah. I mean, Singapore operates at 1 to 1.5% yield. I think Malaysia can do it 2 to 2.5 lah. But people are still expecting at least 5, 6, that kind of thing. So it's a mindset that all our investors have to change. So, and when you have this situation, so even your developers will start to think twice on what should I build? Do I build small unit, big units, or rental based units? So a lot of all this will go through the developers' minds, and especially you see like your big units definitely will struggle. And then if you're talking about rental, but then originally you plan for long-term rental, you want to rent for those. I think those will still do very well. But if you plan for the Airbnb, I think those will actually be affected. But nonetheless, being said that, I mean, just to digress a little bit, property, I think real estate remains still one of the best safest bets for investment in the current moment, because share market is really, you do not know how far lower you'll go, but then property is on chin.
True. Eric, the other thing is how is this pandemic, the heat compared to the previous recession, like our credit crisis?
Okay. Okay. You see, when credit, the way I remember and the way I analyzed during the credit crisis time, I think a lot of people affected, but not everyone affected. So it was a situation where the rich got richer, those those all suffer. So this round, even the rich are suffering. Everyone is suffering across. So you're in a situation that, I mean, unless you're making gloves and all this sanitizing stuff, you make
or masks.
But otherwise the whole market is suffering because people right now, you see the biggest worry right now is people are keeping cash. People are not spending, not investing, not pushing back into the market. In fact, the government, when they give out, I don't know, I didn't get any of the Prihatin money, but I'm not sure how much of the Prihatin money, all this that the government give out, those who receive, they actually spend back into the market. I mean, you buy your groceries fair, but a lot of it will actually choose to keep. And when everyone choose to keep and wait and see, then you very soon you'll actually fall into a depression period instead of economy downturn. Depression is like, you see, the banks got plenty of money, everyone has got plenty of money, but everybody waiting for the cheaper sale. Today 10% sale, maybe tomorrow 20. So people are waiting for that, and it becomes a situation that your money carry no value. Not say no value, you carry a lot of money, you have a lot of cash, but then because you're not spending, the true value of money is not there as the economy spinner, see. And it becomes like right now, look at the oil today. Oil price, they keep dropping. Now it become negative. When it become negative, why negative? Because they got no more place to store. It's like how when Japan went through their Great Depression period, I think 10, 20 years ago, people had to pay to keep money in the bank. Bank don't give interest. Bank charge you for storage. So I think that is something that I mean, I don't think we'll go until that drastic, but then we are in danger of falling into a depression station. Because today you keep 1 million, if you have 1 million, you think you can buy a 800 square feet or 1,000 square feet apartment. But then 2 weeks later or 2 months later, your same 1 million maybe can buy a 1,500 square feet apartment. And so people think, try. So it becomes a wait, everybody wait. Then your bank's full of money, but the market all die. So that is the situation, is it?
True. That could be a very scary scenario. But back to your
it's worse than downturn.
Yeah, it's worse than downturn. So the other thing is, Eric, your side, what are the measures or steps undertaken by your company to mitigate this type of impact, and overall how you're all coping with it?
Okay, so on our side, actually, we thankfully we've been quite prudent in terms of the project clients as well lah. So in fact, you see, like before I joined the company, my dad suffered. During my dad's time, he suffered very badly from the 97, the 97 downturn.
Asian
and then when it came to about 12 years later, I mean, my dad always tell me it's always the year of the rat year of the rat kind of thing. Year of the rat is always the bad year. Okay, so 97, we had that. And then after that, in about 12 years later, that time, then we had the I think the US credit crunch that also affected a bit. And then this round, although my dad's not around, I think, but we were very careful on to make sure our cash flow not affected. You see. So our last 3-4 years, we only been tendering for projects that has high brand value and high sales. You see. So like I would share I'm thankful that I have very strong clients, like guys like Desa Park City, like Glomac, like Sam Darby. All these are very strong clients.
Their sales is doing well.
Their sales are doing well, and I think and of course they are very good paymasters. They're very understanding to contractors. They know that we so they also I think they are very good paymasters, very prompt paymasters as well. And then
currently you all have 8 projects, is it, Eric? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, 8 projects. Actually it's 7 active ones, and the 8 projects actually the finishing of the renovation packages under it's a second contract from Sam Darby under the Quasar Mall that we completed last year. See? So some of my projects, those high sales value, I mean well sold out one is like guys projects like South Brooks, Desa Park City, like Plaza KJ, Kana Jaya, like Quasar previously Sam Darby also. They are very strong clients. And then I've got projects that are not for sale. In fact, I'm building 3 projects that are not for sale. 2 are hotels. One is Tech One's hotel in P. Ramlee. I'm also doing a hotel, Capri Hotel in Jalan Imbi. That's for a Taiwanese client. And I'm also doing one convention center in PJ. All this based on very strong, I would say financially strong clients that they know that when they started the project, they know that they are able to finance the project all the way to the end. So banks also vouch for them. So I think those projects are very solid. Hence, that's why we were very careful already for the last few years. I mean, I'm thankful that I didn't tender for any projects that the sales cannot get, or they're struggling with the sales, struggling with the payment, all this. Or the banks also want to call their loans. I worry for that.
Hey, Eric, the other thing is how do you think the business model will change after this, especially for your industry? The way you do things, will it change for your industry?
Oh, definitely. I think under this new normal, you see, in the past, I think if you talk about the last couple of years, everyone's talking about pushing the revenue, improve that. Everybody talk about proposing this year you do 200 million, next year you do 250, the following year you do 400, 500, 600, the keep growth. But I think now on our side, on my side also, I'm trying to push more for efficiency and also reducing costs and overheads. I think the target is to maintain revenues, but we reduce the cost to boost the numbers instead. You see? Because so far I'm thankful that my team of staff they're understanding enough. They also understand that 公司都好相下嘅, no income, but then we still paying salary, all this. So I think I managed to get all my seniors to brainstorm together to see how we can reduce overheads, and improve efficiencies. I think that's the most important, because if last time if you need 50 workers, if you need 30 workers to do something, maybe now you can do it 25 or 20. So everyone's working closely together and reduce the dependency on let's say even foreign workers, reduce the dependency on all this unnecessary wastage or idling costs. And I think for this immediate short term, I believe a lot of, while the banks are helping out with the financing side, I think I believe there's a lot of cross financing expected between let's say your main contractors helping out the developers, or helping out the subcontractors and suppliers also. And then in terms of the suppliers, those stronger ones, I believe they'll be providing longer payment terms, all this stuff. And I also foresee that the big boys potentially buying out the smaller boys.
But the other thing is, we do know that your industry is part of the essential industry, and
just became.
So how is the process like? Because I have a few friends doing manufacturing. Until today, also they couldn't get this MITI letter of approval for operation. I don't know what are the issues, or what are the updates that you can let us know for your industry.
Okay. You see, the government opened up last Friday. No, the previous Friday. They announced that previous Friday, and then they allowed for applications started, I think, 9 a.m. on Monday last week. I think right now the biggest headache on our side is that, on the contractors, is that why is MITI doing this instead of MOW or CIDB or these things? They're doing the early stage, which subsequently they addressed it. At least now it goes through CIDB, KKR side, so at least it addresses a bit. But nonetheless, when MITI opened up, I think they had about easily 100,000 applicants. You don't just have contractors and construction sites applying. You have your barber shop, your saloon, everyone is applying. So and big and small, even guys with 3 staff or guys with 300 staff, everyone's applying. So you have that headache, you see. So thankfully on my side, I managed, after numerous tries, and we tried various times of the day, and then the website is all jammed up.
Yeah.
Even up to midnight also jammed up.
The website crashed, I heard.
Yeah, we managed to get through at the morning at about 6:30, about half an hour after it's open. So we managed to get through our applications. Then after that, a few days later, we got our approval. I got approval for 5 out of the 8 projects. So now the next stage of it is for the subcons and the suppliers to apply as well, and developer also, they join in for the application as well. So because I'm not sure why. I mean, I do not know what's the reasoning of these multiple applications, but then they wanted everyone interested to work to apply. So at least we keep our staff busy and during this time lah. But for those, my understanding, for those who get their approvals, they need to send all their workers for testing. This sanitizing the site, cleaning the site, disinfecting the site, I think those are very straightforward. But it's the testing part that's the crucial as well. Because as of right now, I think the understanding that in the market, I think the testing cost between minimal 300 plus lah, 300 plus. Yeah. So with the 1,000 plus workers, I will end up have to spend half a million for this, and that is only for smaller guy like me. I think for bigger boys, those who have 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 workers, they will be suffering a lot lah, because they will end up spending 5-6 million. All this. No, but this ruling, I think it's a necessity. But the government right now, the thing is, do we want to impose further stress on our medical system to test on all these foreign workers, while the medical system is testing on those infected or those suspected infected ones? I mean, do we want to further stress on this? Because two school of thoughts lah. If you look at Singapore, the last few days, I think Singapore numbers jumped so much, all because of their foreign workers. So that is also a cause of concern as well. So we are also very careful and taking a lot of precautions at all my labor quarters lah. We check the temperatures twice a day. We do our cleaning. We do a lot of all this just to ensure that the site, the where the workers are staying now is safe, reasonably safe and clean. You see. But nonetheless, I think the government need to roll out all their procedures and all your approved SOXO clinics or POCASO clinics, all this. I need to approve clear audits faster lah. Because while they release the list, but then not everyone on the list can do the testing. And we also inquire all these clinics and all this that are under SOXO list. Some don't have the test kit yet. So it's because some got a shock. Like, oh, they're supposed to do, yes, but they need to procure and get the test kit. So all these we are still at a very early stage lah, you see. So, and I mean, personally, I hope that all these ministries will actually work backwards, confirm all this before they tell everyone to apply. Instead of telling everyone to apply, then they start to prepare the procedures after that. So this is the headache part lah, that we are frustrated about. Yeah.
Understand. But the other thing is, let's say this construction company, one of the workers was infected with COVID-19. Does it mean all the medical costs will be borne by the company or the government?
As what the MITI has mentioned right now, yes, all the costs will be borne by the company, and then we take full responsibility, and then the site have to close down also.
Oh, okay. Wow. Then it's another additional blow lah for the construction site.
Correct. But I believe let's assume there's no MCO it doesn't get extended. I believe even on the 29th April onwards, if everything can start now, I think all these procedures will need to be met as well. So chances is still, we are still going to go through the same procedures to start work, is it, for construction
Yeah.
sites now, because we are high risk areas.
Because test result also is not immediate, right? I mean, let's say today I test for it.
Test results, as what I heard, fastest is about 3 days. Some take as long as 5-6 days. So unless the thing is, unless you have enough space to quarantine or to quarantine the people who go through testing, so that they don't mix with other people who haven't go through testing. Otherwise, it becomes a very redundant, not redundant, but it becomes a bit more of a tedious, repetitive situation, you see, because you test on Monday, you get results on Friday, but in between, maybe you kena already, also you do not know, you see.
Yeah. But the other thing, overall, what other things you think government could have helped the construction industry?
Okay, I think a lot of people. I mean, a lot of the industries, all this, they are calling for bailout, help out, free money, that kind of thing. But I think construction side, we don't expect that. I mean, we don't expect free money, because I think government are not able to give out so much as well, I see. But you see, like, how I view it is, well, how the government do for the people, maybe like what the government do for the people, you can take out your EPF money, you take your own money. I think what the government can help the industry, the contractors, is maybe at least our money, just that those backlog payments, or you're talking about your previously non-refunded GST, all this they can actually refund back faster, see? And even your balance moiety, your stakeholders sum, your progress payments, all this, if the government is willing to push out faster, I think it will actually help also. If you look at Singapore government, they are even giving advance payment on existing projects. I think if the government really consider that, I think we would definitely welcome that. I mean, we don't want free money, but then things that will ease our cash flow, this, I think it will be very good. And then if you look at further to that, if there's a further reduction or waiver of foreign worker levies and all these fees, I think it's very important as well. Because you see, like, I mean, from the foreign workers' perspective, I think a lot of them, you see, they earn, maybe on average, they earn 2,000-3,000 a month. And then they send their money back home. Then they try to, every month, the subcontractors, their bosses will try to deduct 200-300 from them for all this levy, all these things. So if along the way we can have a waiver or reduction, all this, I think it will also help out as well. The foreign workers will be more, I mean, it will ease everybody's cash flow, see. And of course, if I were to look at this also, ideally, if the government can ease the working procedures, accelerate it a bit, you want to do application, but then a little bit one-stop center, see.
Correct.
Like I heard yesterday, I'm not sure whether it's still a rumor or truth or not, but so far I heard there's a bit of truth in that. Like in certain areas, like for example Shah Alam, you get your MITI approval. They expect Shah Alam said after you get a MITI approval, you cannot start work yet. You still need to get the MBSA approval and the JKKP approval. All this
that's what happened. That's what happened to my friend also.
Yeah,
my friend has one in one factory and MBSA.
Yeah, so if every applicant takes 4 working or 5 working days, don't apply, they're starting work already. So all these are the headaches, and then of course all these are the near term. In terms of longer term, if the government can give a automatic extension of contracts by, let's say, 6 months for the government projects, and of course if the Kementerian, our housing development ministry can also give the SPA extension, automatic extension, let's say 6 months. They get the banks to agree and give 6 months. I think all this will help the sector a lot. Because without a government directive on this, if you are the developer and the contractor, if government never give you the directive, I think if you need to whack fines or LAD or this, you'll pass down. See, developer will pass down to contractor, or contractor will pass up to the developer, and your house buyer is the one who suffers. So it will eventually, someone will still pay for it, but it's just that everybody suffer first, then end up buyer pay for it. So I look at it, it's something that if the government can issue a proper directive on this, it will be very good.
True. But Eric, I understand the government already giving out 25% discount on foreign workers permit.
Correct, but you see, 25% sometimes, if you look at it, may not be substantial enough. I think you may want a bit more than that. At least, not just further waiver. I mean, if you can allow, I think the people or the workers, they don't mind paying. It's just that, but don't pay now. Don't pay now straight away. That is, if you prolong the whole timeline a bit, I think they'll appreciate the whole situation better.
I understand.
Yeah.
So the other thing, of course, we want to touch on the banks, the financing institution. Banks are coming up with some new loan guidelines. With the overall, we will be seeing more tightening in terms of financing. So how is it affecting you all? I'm sure for main con like you all, term loans, banker assurance, letter of credit, all those will be something like a necessity for you all. So how do you maneuver over it?
We do. I mean, I think the typical contractor will use your typical term loans and also your banker facilities, like I mentioned, all these BA, LC, all this. But I think in the long run, same thing. You see, like we are in a situation of the stronger. We hope that the stronger give chance to the weaker lah. In this case, of course, the banker is always much stronger than the contractors. And I think all these guidelines, a lot of tightening and so on. But we do hope that the banks can actually increase the timeline a bit. At least you see, like I think I'm just not speaking for myself. I think for a lot of other players in the industry, you see, to some, you see the banks they can be how to say they can be flexible in the sense that if you don't pay 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, they become an NPL. Or some they can even allow it to extend up to even 5-6 months. And based on the current situation, I think even if you give a 6 months moratorium, I think a lot of people may struggle. So I believe, in fact, the best thing to do for banks right now, if they were to do all this refinancing, or they were to restructure all these loans, all this for the players, I think it will actually help out everyone a lot more as well. You see, right now, I believe none have started that yet. But I think if they were to start doing all this, they actually help out everyone. I mean, you reduce, you reduce your monthly repayments, all these things. I think a lot of all this will help out the industry, because especially the smaller guys. Is it the smaller guys? I mean, I consider myself small, but then there are a lot more other smaller ones as well. And those smaller ones, I think they will really suffer, because imagine some contractors who just bought a new tower crane, a new machine, they spent 2-3 million on machinery, and then suddenly, and project get called off. So very likely they'll go bust because they cannot cover already. So no income, they cannot cover. So a lot of all these guys will suffer. So and I know the banks cannot be giving too much, but then in terms of you don't give. I mean, we're not asking for free money. If you can give a prolonged duration, or maybe we extend by another 6 months, 1 year from that, I think the industry will really appreciate this.
Yeah. The other question, of course, is a more sensitive question, because these days is a trying time for company overall, and employer-employee relationship also we have to maintain the trust, or basically we have to align them with our company values, and also a lot of bosses also saying this is the best time for them to really look through whether their staff is really with them, or just in it for the ride. So how do you all managing this type of relationship? I understand for your side, I think your workers is more than 1,000. Maybe you can share with us how is the sentiment.
My workers more than 1,000. My staff about 300 plus. I think the key thing on this sentiment side, I think the staff need to understand. So how I did also, I tackle the seniors first, then from there I tackle level by level, because I think especially the more senior, the more matured ones, I think they're very understanding, because they also know that last 1 month got no productivity, and yet so I think they're appreciative of it, I say. And especially, I mean, for my side, I see, like, if you're talking about if IT business, if you can work from home. But if you talk about property wise, I cannot sell. I mean, I can sell from home, but then the viewer also don't want to buy. Construction, I cannot lay bricks at home. So that is that kind of situation. So I think the staff are very understanding on this, thankfully. But I think a lot of smaller companies, you can see that they are protected to a certain extent by the government, especially SMEs on this.
Or the micro one, especially.
Yeah. And then the employees as well. So I think for those guys may not be that bad. It's for the bigger guys. The bigger guys, you see, like, I mean, AirAsia is quite taking a drastic move. You're talking about 30, 40, 70% kind of thing. But I think for construction wise, some of my peers, they actually offered pay cuts, but then they pay back within 2 years. I think that's a very good concept. On my side, so far, I'm not doing any pay cuts yet. I'm just trying to deduct some annual leave and so on, just to clear some of the costs. But I think the key thing, the bosses. The bosses need to be very truthful to their staff, and the staff also. I think I also tell my staff. I said, if you in during this situation, if you need any help, everything, just come to me. And if you need to borrow money or whatever, I think we are willing to look at. I'm willing to help out and kind of thing. Because I think this the key thing. You see, the key thing here is I tell everyone, we need to have the trusting. From the trust, then we bonding, and then from if you have the trust and the bonding, I think it's very easy for us to rebound from this and the rebounding. So trusting, bonding, and rebounding. This three is something that I try to embed into my senior staff as well. So at least at least the staff will fight for you as when the market recovers. And I think to a lot of to some of the junior staff, they may not understand because the last few years probably are all very good years, very bumper good years. So everyone enjoying good stuff. Then suddenly, market bad. They're like, they're still hoping for the same kind of benefits. Then I said, this is something that you need to educate them lah. You need to give them more guidance and so on. So, because sad to say lah, I think a lot of people are not well informed of the current situation. Not just in the country or in your city, it's around the world. I say so. At least on my part, I'm not doing any retrenchment. These things. I think my staff are considered still quite lucky lah. In the sense
Very
that
lucky.
I think, but a lot of guys out there are really doing retrenchment. So
they are.
The jobless rate will actually go up.
But what is your outlook for overall the development side?
I think for property wise, like I said, high end definitely will probably be deferred a bit. And your affordable and your mid levels, I think they will still be. I think it will help the market recover a bit. Probably you're looking at least maybe fourth quarter you start seeing things picking up a bit. Then, but nonetheless, I think by first quarter next year, I think things should be better. You see, if you look at other type of, your other type of properties, you talk about whether all this rental based like your retail, your hotels, all this. I think all this will definitely slow down unless they're already ongoing. Then okay, but those new ones, I think they're likely to be scrapped. I look at it because you see, if you look at the current situation, your retail is definitely affected, your tourism is affected, hospitality affected. So this three itself will really kill off all the rental markets already. So all this, the not rental, kill off the non-for sale projects.
Talking about,
I don't foresee any new companies. Any companies trying to shift into new office buildings at the current moment. I think they also will try to cut costs.
Cut down the size, yes, but moving into the new office by occupying a smaller space.
But one thing though, one positive feature of this, you see, I think the smaller companies or the more modern companies, those that during this 6 weeks they use all this Zoom, all this Cisco WebEx, all this Microsoft, they use all this a lot. I think this co-working space may suddenly thrive. They actually pick up because now maybe the bosses now realize actually I don't need to have a physical office. People can work from home. I got your Zoom, all this kind of idea. I can meet them. We have a space. We have a meeting space and a co-working space. I think people will look at that.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
it's a direction to possibly look at as well.
Yes, but talking about development for Crest Builder, I understand you all have just bought this land in Bukit Tinggi, Klang, and you also have this existing Dang Wangi project called Latitude 8. So what is your plan on these two developments?
At the current moment, I think Latitude 8, original plan for Latitude 8, without looking at COVID-19, original plan was supposed to launch in October. At the current moment, I think we may defer a bit. I think we're likely to defer a bit on the launch dates because I think right now you launch something high end, something that sells for, in fact, not that high. So we have to reduce the selling price to about 1,000 per square feet from 1,004. I think if you to launch right now, I think also the project may suffer. I'm not prepared to start the job even on low sales. I think I want to see how the market can accept versus. So likely we will push that a bit more, defer that a bit more. The Bukit Tinggi land, actually the Klang land is a very prime. We concluded the sale. In fact, we paid our balance a few days before MCO, WCT, the landowner. In fact, as of right now, we are working. My guys are all working very closely on this. My consultants are we target to, once the MCO lifted, within a month we can apply to MPK for DO building plan and all this. So the target is also still to, if I can do a soft launch by year end, I think it will be very good now, because for that project I'm only targeting about 500 plus per square foot, so I think it's still very affordable range. And being you are still within the 2 LRT stations, you are very close to Tesco and Aeon. I think locality is still very strong lah. So and I think this MCO has taught us that while you love to go out and so on, I think you will want to enjoy your facilities and all these things. As even the MCO lifted, I think people will still be staying home a lot more than previously. But then now you want to enjoy your local facilities. So I think this is something that we are very focused on. That's why I also told my guys we want to provide more facilities, more open spaces. At least people, I mean, of course, now you can use your swimming pool and so on. But then I think
gym,
people can use the facilities. People will definitely want to use it more.
Okay.
So these are the new offerings, the new concept of selling. You have to give more.
And of course, it's a hypothetical question. If MCO is extended, what would your company do?
In terms of the working wise, I think we will definitely apply. I mean, we will definitely look to MITI to get approvals for all my balance sites. Ideally, I also hope for my sites at least to start moving. Not so much for the company's sake, but at least for my foreign workers. The foreign workers, you see, if you look at them, they are actually very low. They earn not much, but at the current situation, while the low-income earners or the low-income Malaysians are protected by the government, all these low-income foreign workers are not protected at all. So actually, we are the ones who are giving them advance payment. All this, like the whole of April, they got no income in there, no work, right? To them, they'll be suffering because you see. But one thing I admire about the foreign workers, I see if last time 10 workers over a week they eat 5 chickens. Now because they all ikat perut, over the whole week maybe they eat 2 or eat 1.5. Unlike our Malaysians, our Malaysians are so tired one, still eating quite a lot. I mean, I can see people are still enjoying themselves, staying at home. So these foreign workers, they actually really suffer from all this. So ideally, if they can start working, they can start earning something. And then on my part, if I want to pay them, or I don't need to pay them advance. I can pay them their salaries. At least they can work lah. See, at least.
Are they paid daily or weekly or monthly?
They are all on day pay, but then they are paid monthly. You see. And if you look at the conditions, you see most of us here, whether let's say it's a family of 4, we stay in an apartment 1,000 square feet. I think it's not too bad lah. But the foreign workers, some of them, 20 of them stay in the cabin, a 400 square feet cabin. So I think social distancing for them is 0 lah. Obviously lah.
Correct.
For them when they sleep, as good as almost shoulder to shoulder. So if they come out, at least they a bit more distance lah. You see, I think it's good. And of course, I think I also hope that for my office we can operate a bit like this, because I think to me MCO extend, but then I think a lot of people are suffering at home. I also worry the next thing. I read a lot of people about getting depression and all these things. I also worry people get mental disorder lah.
Yes.
I mean, like, this is a very crucial times. And a lot of people cannot take it. I mean, I've got friends who are like probably going to go through a divorce soon or all these things. So every day I argue with wife. All these little things are actually affecting.
True.
Luckily, we are all staying a lot landed. And if Hong Kong do lockdown, I think a lot of people tiu lao.
You're right. Very good point. So basically, this show, Property Inside Straight Talk, this show is to give out more positive vibes to our viewers out there.
Yes.
Maybe we can end this session with you giving some word of inspiration, motivation to the investors or the viewers out there. What is the best way for us to really be productive and go through the rest of the MCO?
Okay, I think for this during this period of time, during the early days, I realized a few very good positive things. I started chatting up with my friends whom I haven't talked to for last 5-6 years, last 10 years. I started messaging them. Last 1 year, I see, and then I message them, asking how are they. I think this is good for relationship bonding. I think I would advise all the entrepreneurs, all the bosses to listen to what their employees as well. Because I think idling minds are very interesting minds. A lot of people say idling minds are crazy minds, but I think idling minds are interesting minds, because some people will think of new ideas, how we can do this better, how we can do that better, or how we should not do this. A lot of people are thinking of that. And I think for the more enterprising entrepreneurs, I think the key thing is look for opportunities lah. I think there are a lot of opportunities in the market, and especially those with the cash pile and all these things. I mean, you can assist or buy out smaller guys, all these things, or you can. I mean, I think you can do your mo pai along lah. Mo pai along lah. So you can go out there. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities I think right now. So, and a lot of people are looking for investors. In fact, I believe a lot of the smaller players in the market, they probably try to do mergers and all these things. So all these are various new opportunities that as an entrepreneur you can look at. That doesn't mean that if you're running a business, then if and if it's failing, doesn't mean it's gone already. I think we can actually look at a positive side, welcome investors, welcome new ideas. You bring in your staff, become your new shareholders. I think all these are very important. I think.
Yeah.
It's like right now we fall into the startup culture a bit. This startup, I think 99% of startups fail. 1% make it. They make it very good. So actually, we are in a current similar situation right now, whereby it's like we are all like startups right now. So how to make sure that you get better? Of course, the people go for angel funds, angel investors, all these things. But here we don't have that access. So we can actually look at how we can team up with the bigger boys, joint venture, all this. There's a lot of opportunities out there, and not just from other sectors, but even your own industry, own sector. Also, we can look at more collaboration.
Correct.
The key thing is relationship building, lah. I think that's the thing. Yeah.
Relationship building. Totally agree on that. Eric, last question. If MCO is lifted, okay, tomorrow, what would be the first thing that you will do?
I think I will take my car for a nice drive on the highway. Maybe arrange for a game of golf. Since it's tomorrow, man, then arrange for a game of golf. And then probably get the office up and running. I think the key thing is even the MCO lifted, I don't foresee a full swing immediate as well. Because I think your full swing you're too fast, you full swing. Also, you worry on this the spread of this COVID-19 as well. So I think it's also good to take a more relaxed approach to start, and then from there things pick up from there.
Yeah. With that, thank you very much, Eric, for your time and sharing. I'm sure your insights really will help a lot of people because property also is directly related to construction industry. Your insights and your inputs have been very helpful for us to understand a little bit more of the whole ecosystem. And as what you said, make full use of the time that we have during this MCO. I think mine might be an interesting mind. So try to be more positive and try to find new ways, new strategies, new ideas, basically to
look for opportunities.
Because these days opportunities is abundance now. Okay, thank you very much, and thank you all our viewers. Okay, see you again. Stay safe, stay home. Bye bye.